No, you're not too old to be playing Battlefield 6. This is probably the most common statement people make regarding their experience of the first open beta weekend for the game. Battlefield is a series that got started in 2002, 2003, and with over 20 years of service under its belt, it's only logical to think that maybe it was a younger you that could play this game, and not the rickety bag of bones that you are now. Read me. I am the bag of bones. I am 37, and the grave is just around the corner. But that's definitely not the case. You're just not used to the pacing of this game anymore. In this video, we're going to help shake the Call of Duty dust off that perishable skill set and get you back into the Battlefield mindset so you can start enjoying the second weekend. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge of my videos. So let me give you the down and dirty of what I will be talking about. Basically, I'm going to illustrate the importance of pacing in this game. You're not playing Call of Duty, so you can't just slide tackle to victory. No one's going to erect a treehouse around themselves if you get the drop on them a la a Fortnite. Battlefield is and always has been about intentional movement, squad-supported actions, team play that favors objective-first behavior over the lone wolf, kill streak commandos of Call of Duty. Don't get me wrong, I love me a good sweaty Nuketown sesh, but when I plug into Battlefield, it's a different pace, and that's something I totally forgot about. The first day or two of last weekend, my ass was just getting handed to me. Then I remembered the game is all about points and death tickets. The more points you score and the less death tickets your team suffers, then you win. Doesn't matter if you're 50-1 or 1-50. If you have 8,000 points from objective-based gameplay, then you've contributed more than the guy with 50 kills, because that's just 5,000 points on kills alone. Take your time. Go slow. Stick with the people on your team. Doesn't matter if they're not the best players in the world. The game is too chaotic to hoof it solo. Something I'll be repeating a lot in this entire video. Slow is fast in this game. Posting up and defending a point or taking an alleyway with a measured level of caution is going to get you through without dying by sprinting into a tank you didn't see coming. But that's the too long didn't watch this entire video. If that's all you wanted to know, then please feel free to shut the video down. I want to be respectful of your time. You can navigate to any part of this video that interests you the most using the chapters about the timeline and the description. And if you are heading out and you found the information in this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those things helps me out in a huge way. Lastly, you can find a link to my Twitch where I stream this game, Warframe, plenty of others every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But let's get started on, are you too old to be playing Battlefield 6? Before we get into like the actual nitty gritty of the pacing stuff and talking about warming up and all that shit, let's talk real quickly about just the quick lineage of this game. I mean, because I know a lot of us got into it in 1942. In Battlefield 1942, not back in 1942. And Battlefield 1942 was maybe your first entry, but I think the majority of people that play Battlefield, by and large, their first major step into the series was Battlefield 2, which released in 2005. Battlefield 3 then came out in 2013. In between those two, we have the Bad Company series. Battlefield 6 has been attributed to feeling very similar to a Bad Company 2, which is widely regarded as one of the best Battlefields in the entire series. Now, where I'm going with this is, if Battlefield Bad Company 2 came out in 2010 and it's been 15 years since then, maybe you haven't played in 15 years. That's a rough amount of time to consider yourself going, oh, maybe I'm too old, or maybe you just fucking haven't played a Battlefield in a long time. Jumping ahead though, if we go to Battlefield 4, which is the last modern warfare battlefield, that is in 2013. That is 12 years ago now at this point. That is really weird. No, I'm sorry. That Battlefield 4 came out in 2013. Battlefield 3, I'm looking at a chart here. This is showing me Arma 3. Battlefield 3 came out in 2011, 1 year after Bad Company 2. I remember this because I did the midnight launch at a GameStop, and man, was it fun. But Battlefield 1 came out after Battlefield 4 because it was set in World War I, and that was in 2016. And then Battlefield 5 was a World War II game, and that was set in 2018. So 2018 is the last major release of a Battlefield, for the exception of 2042, which came out in 2021, which most people outright skipped over. It was kind of one of those games that people played the beta, it was terrible, it was dead on launch, no one really jumped into. Battlefield 2042 is in a great state right now, by the way, if you have any desire to play a game like Battlefield until 6 comes out. So consider this. If the last time you played a modern warfare battlefield was 4, That was in 2013. It's been 12 years since you've really put concerted effort into a Battlefield game. What you've been playing as a result then is Call of Duty Warzone, maybe Escape from Tarkov, maybe it's Fortnite, maybe it's Apex Legends, maybe it's any number of shooters that have come out since then that really favor fast, frenetic gameplay over the measured squad format of a Battlefield. Even Apex Legends, which is supposed to be kind of like it's a looter shooter in its own regard, but it's supposed to be kind of a little bit more squad oriented, right? It doesn't really feel that way. Even if you're playing Overwatch, which is a very competitive first-person shooter, team-based oriented game, unless you're playing on a serious league, definitely not bronze, right? Gold or higher, you're really not using much communication when it comes to discussing where you're going to be going. And yeah, sure, maybe you play Battlefield entirely solo, like as in you just jump into the game and you get put with our squad. But the nature of the game allows you to call out things, allows you to give attack orders as a squad leader. So you can follow the momentum without actually direct communication, which has always been one of the biggest strengths of Battlefield. So this 3.5 minute segment that starts this video out is mainly to tell you, you probably also just haven't played one of these games in forever. And that is not really a symptom of being too old and not having the skill set. It's that video games have one of the, I would say, most drastic perishable skill sets. When I would play a lot of competitive RTS, let's just say like StarCraft or Warcraft or Total War Warhammer, any of those, if you take like a weekend off from playing, you're going to be rusty coming back into it. Now imagine taking 12 years off of playing. You're going to be a little rusty trombone with it. And I know what I just said. That word maybe not be applicable to this situation, but my point remains. Gaming is an interesting thing. When you play in the Major League Game Association, in the MLG, they typically want you from age 17, because you have to be 18 to actually play into it, but they basically pull people at 17, all the way up until early 20s, because your fingers can anatomically move the fastest they possibly can in life. Now, you could possibly keep that up through time and whatnot, but the natural calcification of your bones makes it so that you cannot play at the rate that you could. Your fingers will not move as fast for whatever reason. Again, anatomy, I'm not a botanist, whatever. But in the MLG, they take individuals that are over that age, like 24, 25, 26, to be the coaches, because they can think more abstractly. They can slow down their gameplay to approach things from multiple angles. You need to put yourself in that mindset if you think you're too old to be playing Battlefield, because you might not be the fastest guy on the team sprinting around with an SMG, but you are definitely now one of the wiser people on the team that can look at the battlefield from a lot of different angles and develop a strategy on how to approach it. It's what MLG coaches do. It's what you're going to do. But before you do that, you're going to warm up. Now, you don't have to do this. You could just simply jump into a game and just suck for a game or two, and that's totally fine. In fact, that's usually what I do. But a lot of people who play games very seriously, like they're competitive streamers, they're competitive gamers, they're people that actually like get paid to play the game and compete on these leagues, they use stuff to warm up, and they don't do it for a small amount of time. They do it for a good chunk of time. Just think of it like a sport. So I'm going to press play now here, and it's going to go to a black screen, and that's going to really ruin the video. But I can choose anything from this list. I'm just going to choose, I think I chose Call of Duty when I did this on my stream the other day. Yeah, we'll do Call of Duty. So basically, it's going to start a little thing here. I'm going to shoot targets. I'm going to make a point before I even start this, but watch how fast I'm going to do this. This very first one. We're going to do 2 rounds of this. They're a minute each. You could just do one of these, and it's going to make it so that when you jump into the game, you're going to play a little bit better, a little bit faster. So I'm going to go as fast as I can. I think I did, yeah, Talent Frenzy. So again, as fast as I can. After this, takes its sweet, sweet time loading on my supercomputer.
2, 1, go.
I'm gonna miss everything, because I'm the world's best YouTuber. There's never been a YouTuber quite like me. That is absolute trash ass garbage. Going as fast as I can. Missing a lot of shots. Oh, shithead. And I obviously don't need to reload, right? So that's going to change all this shit. You hear me just clicking furiously, right? We got a 93. So I'm going to play again. and I'm going to not go as fast. I'm just going to go deliberately with intention, and I'm going to try to hit targets. That is the point of this next exercise. So press play again, and we're just going to jump right into it.
Go.
Well, I didn't try to go fast. I just tried to be deliberate. I just tried to aim and shoot, aim and shoot, aim and shoot, pump and dump, whoops, pump and dump, whoops. And just that's all I tried to do. And I went from 93 the time before to 101. So that's my point even before getting into the game. You can go as fast as you want, and you will probably miss more than you'll hit. And you're going to throw yourself off until you really, again, acclimate to that level of play. But just having deliberate action in just simply a target practice, you can see how much more performance comes out of it. So I'm going to break this next part here into two sections to kind of help drive my point home. This first series of clips, this first section here is the Call of Duty player in me. And I've played Call of Duty every year that has come out, and for probably 2 battle passes worth. I love Call of Duty. I mean, if I've played Battlefield since 2002, 2003, I've played Call of Duty in just the same amount of time. I played the very first one onward. So I understand loving both styles of play. So with that being said, this first weekend, I really treated it like a very run and gun style of game. I ran in, got 1 kill, and I'd die. I'd run in, get killed. I'd run in, get maybe 2 kills and die. I more often than not would run in and die, no kills included. And what you can see from this gameplay is it exists in a tunnel. It's forward, go fast, jump to the objective, like a dog's brain. I knew a guy who played rugby with me, and that guy just would go forward if he had the ball in his hands, but he would always get smashed from someone from the side. Kind of the same thing here in this game. If you just bulldoze forward, you'll sometimes get there, and eventually you'll build a style with that game style, but it's going to take you a long time. It's going to take you a lot of frustration. This is a game that does not have necessarily set lines of battle. And I don't think Call of Duty necessarily does either, but Call of Duty, depending on which game you're playing and which patch you're playing of that game, is supposed to have kind of like a round robin style of spawning where you chase someone's spawn around a map. So at least you kind of somewhat know that people will be in a general direction. And you do have that in Battlefield, but it's also just as easily just to get hit from one angle if you're playing a conquest when there's multiple points on the map. So the game modes like Rush or something like that, where it is a little bit more, hey, this is a front, we're pushing that forward. It's a bit different, right? But either way, running and gunning is just getting me killed. It's getting me killed left and right. And remember, there's 2 ways to help the team out. There's killing people, which is always going to help. I mean, like, yeah, running and gunning, if you're really good at it and you can just go 50 and 2, fuck it, do it. But getting kills does help because you're going to get points, 100 points per kill. Conversely, you're going to get points for getting people up, for dropping med kits, for repairing vehicles, for damaging enemy vehicles with an RPG, for spotting people if you're a recon player, for doing any number of things, even just simply squad damage assist, or if you're using the LMG and shooting over people's heads, that's enemy suppression. If you're launching a grenade from your grenade launcher as an assault, that's enemy suppression usually. So all those things do give you points, and they actively contribute towards you winning, because the biggest thing about this game method or this style is I might grab a point, but I get killed, and I'm the only one on that point. Maybe one other person in my squad's on that point. And I wasted 2 death tickets for no real actual gain. Because remember, this game is all about those death tickets. Whoever's losing is the person with the least amount of death tickets. And if you have more points, you lose death tickets at a slower rate. If you have less points, you will lose them at a faster rate. So contributing to that by just simply throwing yourself onto the sword multiple times is not really going to help you get better at the game. It's not going to help you build a good pace, and it's not going to help your team. What's interesting about video games compared to, say, like a sport, it's an interesting skill set that gets better faster because you can get reps in quicker, right? I mean, if you play soccer, eventually you've got to come off the soccer field, right? And you can only play for a certain amount of time or in a day. And it's the same thing here for a video game, absolutely. But I'm saying if it's raining and you can't go play soccer, you can still play a video game. And you can learn a lot through the feedback of dying and adjusting quickly. So while the run and gun isn't what I recommend, it does have its place, and it does teach you quickly, because it should teach you to then start to play like this. And let me just start this section by saying I'm not the best player. I'm going to show you me dying a bunch. And even though I'm dying, you're going to see though that I'm going to get double or triple kills. I'm going to be able to actually hold a point, or I'm going to be able to push to help arm something or defend something that has been armed, because I'm playing around the objective. And what you'll also see is if I do get killed, I hang out. I hold down the button that allows me to slow the bleed out process to allow a squad mate to get me up. In some of these clips, I go from getting like a double kill, then to get a triple kill right after it because I waited for someone to get me back up. I ended up dying at the end of it, right? Like no one goes through these games and doesn't die. But the point was, I was mindful enough to stick around my squad mates, which invariably, even if you're not communicating with those squad mates, they create a left and a right side buffer for you. I mean, not in the sense that they're just a shield and they'll get killed, but if they're shooting or being shot at, you can respond to it quickly, versus if you're solo and you get shot at from that angle, if you're not going to use the flick button, you can bind it in your keybinds, or spin fast enough, you're just going to get killed because the person's only going to be shooting at you, right? When you're doing any kind of team effort. And honestly, if I'm not playing with friends on Discord or like in comms, I usually will just choose one teammate and latch onto that person. That's really it, because that teammate will probably be following enough other people. And you can see by a lot of the places on these maps, I'm with other teammates. There's some points where I'm playing recon, and even then I'm still kind of around people, because the point of recon and the way that I personally play it, because I don't like sniping, I'm just really not very good at it. I play recon with, God, the M39 is just so bad. But now that I've got the SVK, it's better. But with either a DMR or a carbine, something where I can threat from a bunch of different ranges and use the recon's kit. Just remember that the pacing of this game is finding people to go with you. It's, hey, I spawned on a squad mate. I'm going to stick with the squad mate. There's no reason to run away from them. Maybe this squad mate was support. Cool. They're going to be able to throw down ammo for me. What I've really realized in BF6, more than probably a lot of the other battlefields, is that I run out of ammunition if I'm not support very quickly. There's a point in one of these clips too, I think it's actually gone now at this point, where I was using an assault and I killed 5 people in total. I mean, not the best, most accurate gameplay of all time, but still, I killed 5 people and I ran out of ammo. So I had to switch to my shotgun. Then I very well got killed, but still, if you're not being able to play with the team, you're not going to get ammo. You're not going to get your gadgets back online. Your gadgets are half the thing that does all the power for your squad. I'm sorry, for your class. And that invariably then helps your squad and then helps the game and the match. So when you're playing, slow down, hang out with your squad mates, or just simply follow all the blue marks, follow people, use your spotting, spot things as you see them. I'm constantly spamming the spot button. One cool thing here with Battlefield 6, if you're playing recon and if you're aimed down sights, that auto spots for the whole entire team. So they can see anything that you can see as recon, which is a really, really big boon. That's unique to Battlefield 6. So play the game, enjoy the game, play the fuck how you want. Even if you're sitting through this whole entire video, play exactly how you want. I'm just trying to help you in learning that the pacing of this game is going to reward you if you play into it. If you try to force it to be Call of Duty, it's going to punish you and remind you that it's Battlefield by having a tank blow you up when you didn't see it coming. Or you're just going to run into a whole entire team of people, which you probably saw me do plenty of times in the first week. I'd round the corner and there's 19 people and I was just shot to bits. So enjoy it, play at your own pace, understand the pacing, but at the same time, try and find a way to play the objective. If you get knocked down, stay alive, or use the slow bleed out so that a medic can come res you. Go capture those points. Defend the points. You don't even need to go capture anything. You could just simply sit at a point and get defend score. And it's actually really fun. If you sit there with a concerted effort, I'll say concerted effort of like one squad from 4 people on comms can hold down a point for a lot longer than you would think. Because majority of people aren't playing as full squads together. So if you think about that and you approach those things, even attacking points, if you're able to attack ones from different angles with a concerted effort, it is very rewarding. It's really fun. And for a split moment, you feel like an extra in the hit movie Act of Valor, which I think got like a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. But fuck you, I'll watch that movie into infinity because it's so damn fun. But hopefully this gives you a better idea on how to play Battlefield 6. And if you have any tips to anyone who's getting into the series for the first time, or maybe you're an OG veteran that has finally rediscovered that that Battlefield route, let it be known in the comment section below. Share as much information as you can to help people break back into this game, because Battlefield 6 is some of the most fun I've had in the Battlefield series in a long time. And I cannot be more excited for a more refined game in the full release, because obviously this is an open beta, there's balance issues, we don't have all the maps, we don't have all the game modes, but even the second weekend has shown me a lot more that we're going to be coming into, and I cannot be more excited. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.